Hello friends, neighbors, John, your neighbor here. Welcome to Sunday. Normally samples, but maybe for a couple of weeks it's going to be bottle opening. So I just opened these on the short that I shoot, sort of the intro or to let people know I'm doing this. And we're going to look at Indri Drú. This is a cask strength version from the same house that put out that Indri, the 3-wood one that just about everybody talked about. This, though, is their single malt cask strength, only ex bourbon, which you wouldn't guess from that color. Then we've got Tamdhu, and in my little intro I said Tamdhu Batch 5. I don't know why I said that, because this is Batch 6. So this is their Tamdhu Batch strength. They're both very similar. I think this one's around 56 something, and this is 57 something. So these are big single malts, a Scotch, an Indian single malt, only ex-bourbon, only ex-sherry, but already what's starting? The ex-bourbon is darker, and they're both natural color and non-chill filter. This should be an interesting ride. Pour one of these if you have it. Pour something strong. Come on back. 3, 4. Well, as I tried to say in that short opener, these are big single malts. These are cask strength or batch strength. This is natural cask strength. And I think, yeah, 57.2%. Boy, that bottle is dark. You know, Indri kind of made a splash, I would say, with all us YouTubers, because frankly, they sent everybody a bottle of that 3-wood. The one that had French wine and sherry and bourbon, I think. I think so. Should look that up. I liked it. Thought it was a great dram. Haven't bought another bottle, but I could see myself doing it. I enjoyed it. Now this, I bought with my own coin because I did like the other one so much. And when this came out and it was a decent price at BSW Liquor in Alberta, I thought, I gotta try this. I really do. Mostly because I really liked the other Indri, and then this now just helps me kind of explore more. I said in the opener, I cannot recall an ex-bourbon this dark. Actually, maybe I have, but almost always there's an ex-sherry in there. There's an ex-wine. There's something going on to get this kind, especially on an NAS. But, you know, heat in India is way hotter than Scotland, so the interaction in the wood is going to be something else. Now, I have to say, I pour these, do it on the short. I do some things back in my office. I come back out here, and the Nook right now rarely smells this thick with fruit. And I'm actually thinking it's this. It could, I mean, it's a mix. Tamdhu's right here. It's no slouch. We're going to get to it. But what's coming off here right now, I'm not even in it. Yeah, it's a lot of this rich, thick fruits. I don't know, it must be, you know, given that this is only ex-bourbon, has to do a lot with, you know, the yeast strains they're using and the way they're making their distillate, because this is ripe banana, ripe tropical fruits. But actually, now that my nose is getting a little more adjusted, I've got oaks and woods and nuts. A fair amount, almost a whole Christmas assortment of nuts. We've got, I don't know, like walnuts. It's not sweet like sweet almond. It might be in there with some of the sugars, but it's more like all the other nuts that you're going to smell in there. Very interesting. So that's the nose on this Tamdhu. This is Tamdhu over here. On this Indri Drú, I think it's their first release cask strength. Let's try it on the palate. Cheers. What do we say in India? Someone let me know. Cheers. Wow. The second nosing or third nosing when I was getting there is what I'm getting out of the palate. We've got espressos, chocolates, nuts, oaks, woods, drying on the back end. Now in the early finish, I've got just some really cooked down. Who is it the other day that was saying, we're not talking something, we're talking treacle. I've had treacle. It's not right there in my tasting notes because it's not what I grew up with, but it's that kind of sugars. Really, really cooked sugars, dark sugars, woods, nuts. Hopefully the second sip will bring back some of the fruit in the palate. Cheers. What a treat. It's still drying and oaky. I can almost feel like the rich fruits that I got on the nose at first are trying to come out. I'm going to put a bit of water on it. Because of course at 57.2, is that it? It needs a bit of water. And I'm going to let it rest while we talk about Tamdhu. I'll just put a little bit just to see how it opens up. Later on, I'll dial it in at different places. This is just an opening with you. First thoughts. Don't be critical and don't run away and buy either one of them really on this. This is just, how's it starting? It's starting well. Okay, moving over from India to Scotland. We're going to talk about Tamdhu. And despite my incorrect intro, this is batch 6. My understanding is Tamdhu here is only in sherry. I think it's a mix of first fill and second fill Oloroso. People correct me if I'm wrong in that. It does say natural color on it, and I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere non-chill, but now I can't remember. Shoot, someone correct me on that. First opening course for my review, I'll have that information, but it's 56.6%, very similar in terms of percentage, and it's no slouch for color. Honestly, nice natural color, especially non-age stamp. Obviously we're talking some really nice active sherry casks. That's really, really good. Again, it's all barley, so this is a single malt. This is a Scotch single malt, so we're talking all barley in both camps. But now we definitely have sherry. Let's see how it changes that. Tamdhu Batch 6 on the nose. First thoughts. That is so much sweeter. Maybe in contrast. I mean, this is sweet berries and strawberries and it's all that sweetness, but good sweetness. Not, we're just talking confectionery sugar. This is sweet, rich. This is roasted coming back. Roasted. Interesting. Okay. Past the sweet berries and whatnot, I'm not getting a little bit of malt in there, a little bit of really sweet chocolates maybe on the nose. We better dive in and see where the palate takes us. Sláinte. That is no slouch either. It is good. It is rich. It feel like at 56, I can't believe I'm saying this. It feels just a little bit thinner than the Drú over here, but it is the secondary flavors. It's much more an interplay of berry and as it's drying, I could get into that kind of prune, plum, like the darker sherry. And now the oak comes in, a little bit of that smolder char. I shouldn't say it like that because you'll think it's peated. There's no way like that. I just mean a little bit of that cooked burnt fruits and sugars. And unsweetened chocolate wafer. I'm going to go with that. Absolutely. Like a bit of crust, a bit of unsweetened chocolate wafer. Another quick sip. Sláinte. That is really good. I really like Tamdhu. Like Tamdhu Batch strengths over the years have been a favorite of mine. Put a bit of water on that again, not much, just let that open up and then we'll clear the palate. Okay, I want to come back to the Indri Drú after some water on there. I have to say, I don't really talk about legs enough on these ones, but they are really nice and long running, clingy, just the way when you look at a glass, like, something in there is pretty good. So this is the Drú now that the water sat for a little bit of time. And there's a slight more sweetness, but it's sweetness like a little bit of vanilla and that banana going on. I know earlier I said tropical fruits and that's there, but that's backseat. Now it's kind of a ripe banana. Let's try this on the palate. Nice. First thoughts on the palate sip is I got some like cinnamon and some spice, which I wasn't getting without the water. It was almost too dark. Now I'm getting a little more spice pellet out of it, but it's still oaky and dry. Let's see what water did for the batch 6 of Tamdhu Batch strength. Just in contrast, it's so much more. I'm out in the field and I'm eating some raspberries right off the tree. Like, it just has so much more of that red fruit. Of course, it's all sherry. This is all ex-bourbon. Let's try it on the palate. Slancha. You know, it's interesting. In contrast to the additional spicing that came out in here, I'm getting more woods and more wood spice and more tannins and more little bit aggressive spicing, like a little bit of the peppering, black pepper, heat. I mean, they're both almost the same strength, really big and powerful. There's all alcohol heat on both of them. But right now, in this first thoughts, the Tamdhu is hotter. It's spicier, hotter. It's white pepper, if not black. It's right there, and the water brought that out more. Very interesting. Look, you guys, this is supposed to be samples, and so I'm trying to treat it as such. I've read about these, forgotten most of what I've read. I just opened them with you guys, and so these are just first thoughts. But have you had the cask strength of Indri? Have you had the Drú? What do you think of this rich, dark, only ex-bourbon? And Tamdhu, is this a favorite? Is it always on the shelf? Tamdhu in one form or another almost is always on the shelf for mine because it's still slightly better value for what I think is a really good Scotch. Have you had the batch 6 specifically, and what did you think? Share your thoughts down below.